So tonight's going to be a little different. The original idea for this week was to start the pre-testing for the Pro OC Cup, and well, unfortunately, a few things have happened in real life, and I wasn't able to do any sort of pre-testing last night. And then my career has sort of got a bit hectic today, and I've got some deadlines to meet from Friday. So I'm not too sure what sort of preparation I'm going to get done for the Pro OC Cup before Friday. I think it's going to be pretty much another wing it session come the weekend and hope for the best. I've got 4 Galax 980 Ti's that I do need to test and select the best one and get going with it. But when that happens, it's going to be, I don't know, probably starting Friday, Saturday, and then get my best scores done Sunday morning. So stay tuned for that. What's going to happen tonight, though, is I've got some. I can finally start announcing and start mentioning that we have formed a partnership with CoolerMaster, and we're going to have some great giveaways coming up. And what they've also done is they've been very kind enough to supply me with some of the tools I need to do some pre-testing in the OC lab. And tonight, what I want to do is just unbox the items that we're going to be using. So today, I'm going to have a look at the V1200 Platinum power supply from CoolerMaster and the Nep, uh, Nepton 280L all-in-one cooler, uh, and just get it unpacked and get it unboxed and get it set up. So if I have enough time tonight, then I'll get that set up, get the all-in-one cooler up and running. Maybe quickly just pre-test a new Core i3 that I got today. Um, they finally more stock has arrived in South Africa, so I want to just check to see how that one does for Cinebench at 4.5 gig, and then jump straight in. I've got a card already mounted and ready to rock and roll. It's just got to get the system up and running on air so we can stop pre-testing some cards. So I'm going to go ahead and start unpacking the power supply. I'm going to change the view, and once again, if you've got any questions or if you want me to show you anything or anything to that effect, please just drop me a message and we'll take it from there. Yeah, so I'll be talking to myself and to you guys as we go ahead. I'm going to switch the view and let you guys have a look at what's going on. Alright, so all I've done basically since I received this is take off the plastic wrapping. So I haven't even opened the box, I have no idea what's in here. And you're going to see it as I see it. What I want to do is, sorry, I just want to maximize the video so I can make sure that you can actually see everything that I'm looking at. So just to give you guys a little bit of a background on today's temperature in the bench room at the moment, it's 28.2 degrees. We've got some heavy humidity and some thunderstorms around, but I don't foresee any problems. So there you can see the all-in-one cooler that we'll be having a look at as soon as we're done with the PSU. So if I'm moving too quickly, please feel free and just jump in and ask any questions. Right, so this is a V1200 Platinum. I'm going to just go through some of the marketing material on the box here, and what I really like, what always I look for in a power supply for my 24/7 machines is the platinum rating for your 80 plus. And basically all that does is it means that over a period of time, the savings on electricity because of the efficiency of the power supply will reduce the actual overhead costs. So the power supply almost pays itself off um, in saving of power versus a gold or a silver. Platinum obviously being the higher rating. So the box opened easy enough, as I'm sure you could see, and we're presented with a full brown box with the logo on the front there. So before we move off the actual marketing material here, the CoolerMaster hybrid fan technology. So it's a 0 dBA fanless mode compatible power supply as well. So if you're running it in an environment where sound is quite important, it does have a 0 dBA option, which is always nice when you're looking at a top of the line power supply. Right, so just opening the box, we are greeted with just the power supply user manual, and there's just the normal stock standard thing in many languages. It gives you some basic instruction on how to install it, but I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, you know how to do all that. Right, so we presented with 2 bags. It's always nice when we travel, we use these bags. And the first bag is just a package full of connectors. So you got your main connector, all the PCI Express connectors. And the second bag looks like all your Molex, your Molex and your serial ATA cables. So that's quite nice. We'll just go ahead and leave that in there for now. In a white box, hybrid fan controller. Okay, so we're greeted with some cable ties, your normal case screws, and then a hybrid fan controller. So that enables you to switch from auto into hybrid. So I'm guessing in auto mode that would automatically go fanless and then power up as and when it's needed based on the temperature and the load of the PSU. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave that straight in the box. I have absolutely no need for that. And what I'm going to be googling to see is if I can actually remove the OCP if there is any on this power supply. So we removed the styrofoam and we greeted with a nice power supply and a nice bag. That's a really nice quality, and that will definitely be reused for looking after my power supply. Right, notice hybrid fan is intelligently switched on at high temperatures only. Okay. Right, so it's a fully modular power supply. You got your standard 3-prong plug there, so it's not the Taiwanese design, or the hardcore like some of the other power supplies that really have a different plug from what we're used to in South Africa. So this is a standard sort of like South African 3-prong plug, and if you have a look at the back there, you can see it's a fully modular power supply. So let's take that out and let's start finding the cables that we will be needing for this one. So we're going to need a Molex connector for a external fan. So hopefully they have a single one. We will need a serial ATA connector. Okay, so Molex. Okay, so it's a pity they don't have a hybrid with a normal connector and a serial ATA connector, so we'll have to have the 2 cables to supply power to our SSD and to our external fan should we need one. Okay, and then onto the important ones. Okay, PSU, this is CPU, we'll need CPU. PCI Express, we'll need 1, 2, 3 of them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take 4 out and then be done with it. Okay, that's 4. And then we'll need the CPU, second PSU connector, 12 volts for the CPU, which is that one there. Okay, and then we need the main connector. So that's everything we need out of there. Right, so it's a split configuration. Okay, so there's a little trick, or there's just, when I say a little trick, it's just something I like to do when I receive a power supply, is on the end that goes to the motherboard, the main motherboard power, I like to put a little bit of silicone tape around there, so when you're clocking memory, the moisture will just run basically down the sides and it won't go into each individual hole. Just a little something I like to do. So let me just get the silicone tape. I'll show you what I like to do. Okay. So this is just a stock standard silicone tape you can pick up at any hardware store. And just around this connector here. Okay. Yeah, so that just gives it a little bit of extra protection. And Bob's your uncle. Straightforward as that. So you could also use maybe like an insulation tape or anything to that effect. I just like the silicone tape because it sort of makes it nice and tight, and it's flexible and easy to apply. It doesn't make everything sticky. It's got no sticky side. It sticks to itself. Okay. And the last one is just for the SSDs. Right, so that's basically that for the power supply. Can't do much more until we've actually got a system up running. So let's just go ahead and put this away and put this back into the sleeve. Okay. Alright, so V1200 Platinum. 100% Japanese capacitor, fully modular cable management, 0 dBA, fanless mode, silent operation. 7-year warranty, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, 7-year warranty on a power supply, especially one of this size, is it's very good. Typically that should last you maybe even 2 generations if you're using it in sort of like a gaming machine, 2-3 generations of upgrades, quite easily. Especially with the video cards now using less and less power, it quite easily last a generation or 2 or 3 maybe even. Alright, so there it is in its new home. Now typically I've got a second 1500 watt power supply that I'd use in 2, 3, 4-way configurations. In the 4-way configuration that I'll be running in the next month or so, before we go to Taiwan for Computex, I'll be using 4 1500 watt power supplies. The pre-testing has started of that offline. I've unfortunately managed to kill my X99 motherboard, so I'm just waiting for a replacement of that, and then we'll announce when that might happen. Looking for an RMA solution on that. Not the easiest thing in the world. Alright, so next up I'm going to have a look at this all-in-one dual 1400 millimeter or 140 mil fan solution. And to be honest, I haven't looked at this. Once again, all I've done is taken the cellophane paper off before we started the stream. The last time I had a look at an all-in-one coming out of the box was a H100 in 2012, and to be honest, I have no idea how the mounting system works for this, what sort of performance to expect, or anything, to be perfectly honest. What I do like straight away looking at it is that it's got the dual jet flow 140 fans. Now I'm a big fan of the jet the sound back? Is the sound back? The sound is back. There's a stupid bloody mute button on the stupid remote. Okay, so hopefully you guys didn't lose too much of that. Wow, that sucks. Anyway, moving on. That's not going to work. Jeez. Let me get a clip. Clip. Alright, so I'm just going to have to clip the stupid mute thing somewhere where it doesn't touch the table every 5 minutes. That was what happened there. Alright, so hopefully that won't happen again. I don't know where you guys lost me on the sound or how far I need to go back, but let's just continue. I was just busy unpacking and having a look at the fans and having a look at the quality of everything here. So I'm going to go ahead and have a look at the mounting. So there should be a bracket underneath and then some sort of retention on the top. From what I can see on the documentation, there are AMD and Intel clips that need to be fastened onto the pump. That's quite a bag of things here. Right, so that looks like AMD on the one side, Intel on the other side. It's quite an interesting little bracket. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me put the picture back on so I can see what you can see. Okay. So we got Intel on this side, and flip it over, you got AMD. Interesting all-in-one design. Hopefully it works seamlessly. Alright, so we've got a bag of that, we've got a bag of clips and screws. Quite a serious fan splitter. Okay, so just have a look at the manual. Intel looks like it is these brackets here, and AMD are the square brackets, is that correct? AMD square brackets, correct. Okay, so those can go back in there. H. Okay, we've got 4 screws there, and we've got some really nasty little thumb screws. 3 of those, 4 of those. Okay. And we've got a tube of thermal compound kit. Grey stuff. Don't know what that is. It can go straight back in the packet. I'll be using thermal grizzly, thank you. Right. So we'll be using screw number H. So Phillips. Okay, and then that screws onto the pump. So the right way and the wrong way. onto the image, we turn it upside down, we have the pipes away from us, the other way around, then we would connect it like so. Not so, not so. Definitely looks like it steps up. Okay, so it does not fit that way. Definitely sides in from there. And according to the illustration, screws from the top. Alright, easy enough. From what I can make out in the picture, brackets are the right way around. Okay, once that is done, we can go ahead with the fan, and I'm just going to use a straight push-pull method. I'm going to push with the 140s and I'm going to pull the 120s, and it looks like we've got these nice thumb screws, yeah, for the fans. That's very nice. Okay, let's just go ahead. So they've only supplied enough screws to put on the supplied fans. Oh wait, my mistake, they've actually supplied enough screws for both. Now that is something I really do like. And I have not seen that before in an all-in-one kit. But like I said, the last time I opened up an all-in-one kit was in 2012. So it's quite possible that they're all doing it now. So when it comes to putting on the 120mm fans in the pull position, I have got a packet full of screws that can do that. Right, so let's move on to now the important bracket. Now, this is not normally the part that really frustrates everybody, especially the overclockers, when we're wanting to use it for air testing. It takes a law degree to be able to put it on and off every single time. So looking very briefly at the instructions, we've got to then select what we're going to be using: 1366, 1155, 1150, or LJ775. So this is compatible with 3 different generations. What it doesn't show compatibility for is 2011, but on the box there is a sticker stating that it is supporting 2011 version 3 and 1151. So it does support up to the latest generations. And to get this right, we're going to have to open this packet now, where we have some clips. So from this we've got an in, which I'm guessing is this screw. We then slot it in, and then we put a clip over. And the clip determines what chipset we're running, or what chipset we're using. So we are going to be using 1151. So that is the second clip, second click. First click is 1366, and so slides like that. 1, 2. That's very nice. It holds it in place quite nicely. Okay. Socket 775, and we want to go back one. There we go. That's not too shabby. So we'll just repeat. Okay. Yes, I do quite like that. So if anybody out there has got a good solution for like a Bluetooth headset, something without wires and something without a mute button, please drop me a message with what you recommend. I really want to deliver better sound quality to everyone for the stream, but I'm battling to find the right product, I must be honest. So what I'm using today is a Jabra Bluetooth Skype headset. It delivers really clear, crystal clear audio, but it is wired and it is a bit cumbersome. And as you might have seen earlier, I hit the mute button and we lost a little bit of audio, which is a bit disappointing. Right, so that's that done. According to the diagram, the next step is to insert it into the board. You then put a spacer over each one. Now the biggest problem is as overclockers is to not lose these things. Once we've got the spacer over, it looks like we use a nut. We secure the nut, and that is the end of that. On the LGA 2011 and the X99 chipsets, we would use that little screw, which would then give us a thread. So really straightforward. Now the question is it compatible? What thread are they using here? Are they using a standard that we've used on other systems? So if we have a look at what EK is using, now EK uses a bigger screw, and it's definitely not 2.5, so I won't be able to use any of the other overclocking stuff on that. This one's got a 2.5 thread. Okay, yeah, no, it's about a 3 or 3.5, I think. might have to get some, I think, custom made for that. Anyway, so there are a selection of screws that came here, but I don't see the reason for the screws on the diagrams anywhere. Maybe it's for the AMD side. The screws are to mount it to a case if you're not using the push-pull method. Okay, so I think that is a mounting system in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and actually get it onto a motherboard and see how it runs. And to do that, I think I'm going to use the Impact and the new processor that I picked up today. Okay, so first things first, let's have a look at the new processor. Intel Core i3 6320. Thank you very much. Batch is X534 A946. Okay, this processor was from local distributor. I just need to write the details thereof on the box. And that's that done. Alright, so we've got our Impact. Let me go ahead and install the CPU. Okay, the CPU is installed. And let's have a look at the mounting. Okay, so it almost fits. I think this one just has to be in that box. That one's right, that one's right, that one's right, that one's right. Okay, first try, and slide straight in basically. That's quite nice. I think it's a really nice design backplate. It fits quite snug. It's got the plastic protector, so there's risk of shorting is minimal. And it's not like other backplates that actually sit on the Intel backplate. This one is floating. It's resting on the plastic. Whether that's correct or not, well, we'll see. Looks right. So the next step is just to put the sleeves on. Slide the sleeves near the sleeve shore. Alright, and then let's get some thermal grizzly on there. You know what? Let's use a CoolerMaster cooler. Cooling. Nah, bugger it. We'll just use a little thermal grizzly. Actually, you know what? I've got some G-lid that I need to use up. Who cares about that? Haha. And for this, we'll just put a bit of that on and then smear it all over. So I'm a big fan of the method where you spread it out. I'm not a big fan of the P or the line or whatever the case might be. I like to actually make sure that I've got coverage. And in a study that Roman did, De Bauer, I think it was all based on mounting pressure, and that both methods worked equally as well. It basically came down to personal preference. Right, so that's that. And from this point we are going to do straight over the top basic mount. Right, so my only criticism so far is these thumb screws. They are small. Well, a normal build for a normal system, I think the small screws are going to be really handy, because once they're in, you don't want it to be over, bulky and cumbersome. But for what I'm using the solution for, the small screws can really be painful. Not only are they easy to lose, but they're difficult to work with. And I like to complain. So the time now is 7:20. I've got basically an hour, call it an hour, hour and a half left, that I can, maybe not even that much. I've got to go and collect a certain Cape Townian from the airport that some of you might be familiar with. I'm going to try and see if we can maybe get a session in this evening. He arrives on the late flight, so I don't know if it's going to be possible. But we'll see you all in Cape Town for the World Tour. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. 18th of March at Rage in Cape Town. It's the first time that they'll be having a Rage in Cape Town, so we're not quite sure of what to expect. It's the first time the World Tour is coming to South Africa. Not quite sure what to expect. The Brazilian event looked quite interesting, I must be honest. And yeah, it should be quite a lot of fun. I know myself and Vivi will be there, and we will be working in the workshops, as well as taking part in the extreme side of the competitions. At least I will. I actually can't speak for Vivi on that side. But anyway, it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be nice to have the HW bot guys in town. Take them to some of the interesting South African spots, that's for sure. Right, so let's get the power supply connected up, and we're gonna have a problem with that. How am I gonna? That doesn't fit there. So I'm gonna have to drive this off the motherboard. I'm a bit hesitant to drive the fans with a board, but I'll do it anyway. Right, the memory solution I'm going to be using today is provided by Corsair, and it is the Vengeance LPX 3600 C18. That's these ones. Those ones, yeah. Vengeance. You didn't see it there. Vengeance LPX. These are a custom bin sent to us by the manufacturer in Taiwan. Okay, so first issue is if you're mounting it that way around on the impact, it doesn't fit with the fan slots, with the memory. So we're going to have to mount it the other way around. Oh, what a time waster. What a thermal paste waster. Anyway, let's not complain. Right, so we're going to move the radiator to be this side. This gives us a good time to have a look at the mount. And if we have a look at that, you can see that mount is actually pretty darn good. Right, so we're going to have to reapply that. Okay, so let's try this again. So we'll move the fan that side, and then we'll bring the cooling solution over that way. Right, and there's ample clearance there for the memory now. Oh, not having a good night. But anyway. Okay. Let's get the CPU 12 volt in. And let's get a graphics solution. Let's just start off with a normal card. Let's tighten this up. Alrighty then. Last thing I need to do is connect everything up to the motherboard. So we've got our OC panel. We've got our USBs, and we've got to get our serial ATA solution. Select an SSD. So I think we'll go Windows 7. Get us a power for the SSD. And let's see if this all switches on and what our temperatures look like. Power. Alright, so power on. Okay, clear CMOS and off we go. The CoolerMaster logo's got a border that illuminates around the pump. It's quite cool. A little noisy, not too bad. I think inside a case you wouldn't hear it. There's some nice airflow coming out of the jet flows. I don't think they're spinning at full power. So let's get some screen action going so you can see what's on the screen. Right. Okay, let's just turn off that. That's not right. And I don't know if we want to see the temperature. That's just the bench room temperature. And let's see what we got here. Jeez, okay, wait, hold on. Let's just reboot. Whoa. Definitely going to go and turn off the Q fan option to see how loud this guy gets. The PSU fan spins initially and then goes into silent mode. That's quite nice. And monitor the CPU temperature, 29 degrees. Considering it is 28.8 degrees in the lab at the moment, 29 degrees, 30 degrees on the CPU is not bad. 2 degrees. Oh, I'm liking what I'm seeing on that core voltage there. 1.136. Oh, that looks tasty. That looks very tasty. 1.136. Mmm. Both my previous 6320s were 1.2 volts or higher on the CPU and cache. That looks very tasty. Well, let's see what it does 4.5 at Cinebench. First thing we need to do is just get into Windows and see if this Windows is fine. And then I want to play with the fan profiles. I want to see how noisy these buggers get. Sure, it actually looks like a really good good solution. This, I think it'll be quite happy on the bench room here for all my air testing. Thank you very much to CoolerMaster for supporting. I'm quite excited here. Okay, so let me just respond quickly to my guests that are joining me from Cape Town. And LPG capture, deactivate, activate. Okay. Right, so what do we got? We're wanting to run Cinebench R15. I don't know if we've got it here. So let's just go ahead and have a look at what we've got configured. We've got the 6320 and it is running at 3.9 at 800. That can't be right, right? Is it right? That's very good. I think I'm getting quite excited about this processor. I might have found a 6.2 gig chip which puts me into the competitive range A little late for the RNG showdown, but at least I've got one now for the next comp, or if they ever used again. At the very least, I should be able to get a good XTU score done. But I've already bought another manufacturer's board for that project, and I will be running it fairly soon. Right, so I don't seem to have Cinebench on this drive. Not to fear, I've got it near. Yeah, right in front of me. Alright, so let's just have a look at installs. Cinebench, Geekbench. Now I want Cinebench. That's a 2D benchmark, Cinebench R15. It's quite an easy one, just extract it. Okay, so the purpose of what I'm doing now is really just to see where we are with the CPU. Dan Kopp and Extreme Addict and a couple of other guys have said that they were able to run Cinebench R15 at 4.5 gig with very low voltage on the CPU, like 1.28 or something like that. And both of them have got really genuinely nice chips. So I'm hoping that if I can do similar, then my chip will be worthy of delidding and liquid nitrogen. If not, it's just going back onto the second-hand market. And the other nice thing we can do now is actually watch the temperature of the CPU with the all-in-one cooler. So I need to get up real temp as well, which I should have here. And we'll just pop that onto the desktop. I think real temp GT will be fine. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So real temp will work as long as we don't go over the non-K specifications. If we do go over non-K specifications on the ROG, you can still get your CPU temperatures off the OC panel. And I can show you, I can just zoom out here. Move the OC panel in a bit. Okay, right, so if we look there at the top of the OC panel, you see there's 39 degrees. That should be the temperature either of the CPU or the motherboard. I think it's a CPU. Let me just scroll through. And okay, fan 1, fan 2, just turning all the fan speeds right up. Okay. Let's go back to normal. Alright, so that was successful. Open that. She's a little jerky. I think this video card is a bit. Alright, so voltage on the CPU is core voltage, nothing. Okay, so it's in offset mode. I don't think I've got ME installed. I'm gonna have to reboot. Okay. Because I'm never going to get to 4.5. I don't think. 101 without crashing. I think 102.4 is the highest I'll be able to go in Windows. I keep forgetting this is not a K processor. Yeah, okay, so they are crashed. Not a problem. Oh. Right, monitor. QFan configuration. QFan disabled. Ooh, it's a bit noisy. Right. I don't know if you guys can hear that definite noise level changed. Better. Okay, so what I want to do now is manual, and I want to do 105, 107, 125, 125 it is. And the voltage manual, and we're going to do 1.35. DRAM we'll leave there, VCCIO we're 1.150, system agent 1.2, nah, you know what, alter it, bugger it. PCH core I like to do 1.15, and everything else we can just auto, let's just see what happens there. Uh, 62, that's not enough voltage on BCCIO. 96, 96 B2. Okay, that's not stable. Let's stop being silly and just go set all those voltages. Safe mode might be better. Thirty-nine, 39, 39. I wonder if I don't have a profile. Hold on. I do have a profile. 6320, BDAR. Who cares? Let's just carry on. It's not rocket science. I mean, really. DRAM voltage 1. I would leave DRAM voltage at auto. This will put up 1.25, 1.25. Termination pH core. Yeah, that sure will be fine. Let's try that. Maybe it's VIII. Sure they said 1.28, but who knows at what cooling solution they had running. So let's just check our VRM. It's a little warm, not too bad. The other thing I can try and do is just set XMP on the memory. Just rule that out. Who cares? Haha. 125. 35, 39, 35, 1.35. I was at 4.8. What's... I think I just had a blonde moment. I was trying to beat 4.8, 1.35. Hope it was that. Right, so I was having some silly blonde moments there. I blame my day job. Okay, so CPU temperature with real temp is going to be useless. You're not going to get anything there. According to the OC panel, temperature is 34. Okay, so we can just go ahead and close that. We're running at 4.5, 1.34. And let's see if we get anywhere. .58 degrees on the OC panel. Okay, so Extreme Addict was able to run 1.225 volts for 4.5. Man, these guys and their luck. Okay, so that's 1.3. Extreme Addict says he's booting at 1.2. If this runs, I think I've got a 6.1, 6.2 chip, no problem. Yeah, damn man. So late. It's just a pity. If I had had this in time for ROG, I think I would have been able to have a lot more fun than I did. I was just fighting the whole time. But I'm glad I've got a decent-ish chip, I suppose. So hopefully there is more competitions coming up that that will run on the dual core. Now that I've got one, always happens that way, I suppose. Okay, let's try 1.3. Right. Hey, Doc Gregor, how are you doing? Okay, that's good. Let's try lower. Right, so CPU temperature according to the OC panel is 48 degrees. And it's the only way I can tell what the temperature is when we overclocking these processors. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a fan on the VRM here, just to make sure we're not cooking it, and also I should actually, yeah, these silly fans. man. Play the game. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to make one fan header that will fit into the 4-pin that will fit into a 3-pin. Oh, here we go. This will work. So basically, I just want to get some airflow onto the chipset. Ow! The chipset and onto the VRM. Damn. Jet flows too strong. Yes, I'm testing the CPU voltage for 4.5 R15. Yeah. The reason I'm doing that is because Dan Kopp and Extreme Addict both told me that their 6.2 plus chips would run it at like 1.25 volts at 4.5 gig. I was just testing in Windows to start with, and then I'm going to go down now and check to see at what voltage it boots at. Extreme Addict says 1.2 volts did not boot Windows, 1.25 volt booted Windows. So really, this is a new chip that I got today basically from RMA after the very poor chips that I tested for the ROG OC Showdown. And typical that at the end of the competition I would find the chip I've been looking for all the time. That's just the way the game goes. Would have been a much different game for me if I'd had this chip to start with, but this is running at 1.2 volts. That's incredible. 1.95 set. Okay, I just want to get a picture up onto Instagram of the new setup here, because the power supply and the all-in-one cooler is new to the lab. Yeah, finished. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. So there you go, Suicide Squad now, 1.85. See if it runs. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Cool, 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 cool. Let's try lower. I don't think it will run, but why the hell not try? Stupid thing. Yeah. Damn, that looks like it's actually going to finish 1.184. I'm going to do a reboot. Okay, there, crashed 1.15. Dorka, Dorka. One reboot. Ooh, ooh. Like crashed. OC panel's not responding. Hmm. Chipset's hot, man. Chipset's hot. So let's see what we can boot into Windows at. Okay, our ambient temperature in the room at the moment is 29.2 degrees. The CPU, that's why the OC panel wasn't working, because I had it on the temperature mode. Anyway, let's just go back to there. Okay, so that looks like it boots Windows at 1.2. Message. Okay. Okay, so hell, what should we do? Should we be booting 1.2? Extreme Addicts couldn't do that. I think I'm getting quite excited about having found a semi-decent 6320. I think the next step would be to whip off the air cooler and run it cold and see, delit it and run it cold. Luckily, I invested in the Bauer dealer Darmate, so the risks of damaging it while deleting are zero. I tell you what, it was a hard pill to swallow when I was importing it, but once it arrived and I started using it, man, worth every penny. Yeah, runs, man, runs. That's cool. My old chip definitely couldn't do that. I could run 1.4 volts, 1.35 volts, I think was Cinebench, 1.4 volts. Okay, so we've got a question in here from Bruno. He says he's running a 6320 at 133.5 times 39, 1.5 volts, stable under his poor single stage. Is it good? Well, unfortunately, running it under the single stage, I honestly couldn't tell you because your single stage temperatures are a variable I'm unsure of. So, um, yeah, the best thing to do is to have a look at what it does 4.5 at what voltage under normal air temperatures, and then we can gauge. Okay, so um, yeah, I think I've just asked him what does it do 4.5 at what volts, and he hasn't tried that. So I can only offer you true comparison to what I've run and what I've been told by others what they've run. So a good place is to see what can it run 4.5 at, what can it run Cinebench R15 at 4.5 gigahertz at what voltage. Uh, okay, so I'm very content and satisfied with that. I must be honest. I will try. No, I mean my other one did it with liquid nitrogen as well. It just couldn't run 4.5. So I was going to say I was going to try my old chip with this new cooler. Maybe it is the cooling solution, but definitely not. So I have got an hour left before I need to leave for the airport. and there's not enough time to run this video card with liquid nitrogen tonight, unfortunately. So all I've managed to really do tonight is get that new setup running, and given a good test. Okay, so I think all in all, I'm extremely satisfied with the build quality and the performance of this all-in-one cooler from CoolerMaster. It's going to be a very handy tool over the next couple of days while I test all these video cards. I don't plan to run the CPU and the VGA cold during the pre-testing. I'll plan to run the CPU with the all-in-one cooler and the video card cold. I should be able to run a 5 gig Unigen on a 700K using the all-in-one. I've got a very good chip, and my DrWeez chip should be arriving tomorrow with UPS. So I'm quite excited about that. And look who just signed on, DrWeez. How are you doing? So coming for the Pro OC, it will be a case of testing all 4 of the cards with only the card being cooled with liquid nitrogen. Hey, it's quite a task to get done by Saturday night, but we will persist. So now I'm just trying to be a little bit greedy here and see how low we can go. Not 1.65, 1.165. And there's Bruno online. Evening. Okay, so if I'm getting B6 on the post, I think that voltage now is a little bit too low. Wait, it's cycling through. So Bruno, to answer some of your questions that you're asking in the chat there, I think what you need to do is pop a normal cooler on, so take it off your single stage, and then see how low you can boot Windows at 4.5, and then see what you can run Cinebench at 4.5, and from there you should be able to see if it's a good or a bad chip before you go cold with liquid nitrogen, because having a good low voltage chip or low booting chip doesn't mean it's got a good cache on it. You might still be limited by the cache. So in my past experience with the 2 other chips that I've tested, they were a VID of 1.2 or greater, and they did a 1.35, 1.4 volts for 4.5 Cinebench. Right, so 1.165 is a no-go. 1.55 when set in Windows crashed. So let's see. So that looks rock solid, man. So Bruno, if your chip can do this, then I'd say go ahead and test it on LN2 1.168. This chip will be delidded and tested on LN2 before the end of the week, before my girlfriend comes back from holiday, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, so that's cool. 1.175. Yes. Right. I don't think it's worth testing anymore. I think we've discovered that this chip is definitely worth a delid and a run. It's a horrible track record that Gotti and myself have got with RMAing CPUs. We always seem to get our best chips from RMA. Jeez. Okay. I wonder how those ES chips compare. Okay, there we're frozen. So to recap, 1.17 volts to boot Windows and R15 stable for an RMA chip. Happy days. Now, before we go further, let's just see how it does with memory. How's the IMC on it? To do that, I should have a profile I can just load and run. Um, yeah, well, that's not going to boot. Um, shit, to work. This memory needed more voltage than my G skills. Okay, so 25, 25, that's, if I'm not mistaken, PLL. Oh, you know what it is? It's under extreme tweaking. Dummy. The DMI voltage is 1.8, too high. Sure, silly me. Yeah, I'm quite excited about this chip, I must be honest. It's giving me, let's just say I'm quite excited about it. It's a pity it's so late though. I really would have liked to have had this chip to be able to compete a little bit better before. 41 memory. You know, I need more voltage on the memory, that's why. Got him. More voltage on the memory. Cheers, Roman. Thanks for tuning in. Might be a bit hardcore for air. Might be a bit hardcore for air. I'm not going to push it too much. I don't want to damage the chip. I want to try it in cold first. Let's just see if this boots. I know that the The Vengeance LPX did need more voltage for this profile. I think it was 1.9 volts. I'll have to check my notes. Alright guys, so I'm going to be packing up in the next 10 minutes as well. Yeah, okay, I'm going to actually, you know what, I'm going to call it now. I've managed to achieve everything that we're looking to do today. I've got to go and fetch VIII from the airport in just on about an hour's time, so I need about 30 minutes to pack up and then 30 minutes to get to the airport. So thanks everyone for tuning in to a rather interesting and successful first air session with the new hardware supplied by CoolerMaster. I must say I'm very happy with this all-in-one cooler. It works very nicely, and the mounting mechanism surprisingly is easy compared to some of the other ones I've used. So all in all, I'm happy with that. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. We have got I can now say, we've got a CoolerMaster giveaway coming up. So we've got some nice goodies from CoolerMaster that we will be giving away. And I've got some t-shirts coming from another manufacturer as well. I'm just waiting for confirmation before I say who. So that's going to be quite nice. We will think of some exciting ways to get you guys involved to give that stuff away. So sign up to the newsletter. We'll be announcing it there. So follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, Instagram to also keep up to date with all the news. For now, I think I'm going to sign off and do my video log. You can catch that on YouTube in the next day or two, which will just be a recap of what basically went down tonight. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.